Didn't get all of you in the hall early, so tomorrow I'm going to give you a challenge. Be in at 10. It's really important so we can stay on schedule. So I've been tasked with getting us back on time. This morning, you know, every morning on Saturday morning we try to do something for a charity that we really want to bring special attention to. If you've been in Denver more than a couple of days, you may have noticed that they have a little bit of a homeless problem.
Yep.
And it would not be Empower Network style not to try to do something to help that. So we've chosen a charity. It's known as Denver's Road Home. And I'm going to show you a little clip from our visit earlier this week.
The number one issue is that people need to understand that homelessness is a community problem. It's a combination. It's a social problem, it's an economic problem, it's a financial problem, and unfortunately, it's a political problem as well. Having the political will in the community to do something about it, which is key. What I would say to all those sitting out looking at this now is that be involved in your community. You know, don't make the homeless invisible. Don't try to just walk past them or pretend that the problem doesn't exist. Because the homeless are not just the scraggly guy on the corner with the beat up cardboard sign. They're families with children, they're seniors, they're veterans, it's a cross section of our community, and anybody you see on that street can be your brother, your sister, your aunt, anybody within your family. So be involved, be aware, and be a part of the solutions in your community, and not just complainers about the optics of what homelessness does to a community.
Every time. I mean, I've actually seen the video before and it got me a little choked up then, and I'm still getting kind of choked up. I can't figure that out. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce Benny Milliner, who is the Executive Director of Denver's Road Home. I had the pleasure earlier this week of spending some time at Benny's office, and then Benny sent me on kind of a little tour of Denver and all the things that his group does and the ways they touch people. Benny, can you tell us a little bit about what it means to people to get off the street into safe, secure housing?
You know, it's really critical because, you know, we look at this problem, this situation, and it could be any one of us in here. We could be 2 or 3 paychecks from doing the very same thing. And so it's very important. When we look at it from a perspective of housing, supportive services, and prevention. You know, housing, because housing, without it, there is no stabilization. And we provide the supportive services to help them move from those levels of homelessness into self-sustainability. And so donations and any participation that people have through volunteer efforts, organizations, are so critical in helping people maintain and gain that level of dignity and respect that we all expect and should see in our lives.
And I do have one more question for Benny, and we didn't prep for this. When these folks go back to their communities, how could they get in contact with an organization like yours and have an impact?
You know, so much of what's done for homeless individuals in this country is really faith-based, nonprofit, and community-based organizations. So any of those organizations in your community, touch them. Find out what the need is. Sometimes it's time, sometimes it's your treasure, sometimes it's your talent. but whatever it is, every little bit contributes to this problem. It's across the country, housing shortages in every area of this country. And so until we begin to address that issue, get with your community. Make sure your community has a housing plan. Make sure that your community recognizes that homelessness exists. It may be invisible, but it does exist. Let's dig it out, let's solve it, stop managing the problem, and solve the problem.
You don't know this, but in true Empower style, we come to every community. We are going to reach out and touch them. And obviously we do it. We hope to do it with our talent. We also hope to do it with our checkbook. So without further ado, I have a check. So does anybody like to guess how much I'm going to be donating to Fony today?
$25,000.
Wow, they saying 100,000. Get that check. Benny, we would like to present to Denver's Road Home on behalf of Empower Network $10,000.
Yeah!
Just so you know, this comes from all of your hard work. Our ability to be able to contribute to each community that we go to comes from everything you do, but now it's really about what you do when you get home, because Denver's one city. We're from many cities across the United States. Right now, watching us on live stream, there are people in 20 countries watching us. And I know there are people from 100 countries in the room. So, folks, this is our time now. We're going to reach out and touch the homeless in ways that's never been thought of before. We're going to give them our hearts, we're going to give them our wallets, and we're going to give them our time, and we're going to make it happen.